Hey everyone, welcome to 996 Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. And as you can tell from the title, just seeing maybe if I could, convince some of you if Darcy Kuemper should have been a Vezina finalist for the best goalie of the 2018-2019 season. And the short answer is yeah, pretty much. I came into this video thinking I was going to say no, but digging into these advanced stats and just pondering about it a bit more, I really don't even know how Kuemper wasn't a finalist. So I'll just spit out some stats and go on some tangents. If you guys agree with me, that's cool. If you guys don't agree with me, that's cool also. But let's get into it. Kuemper, 6th in goals against average and 6th in save percentage. Of the goalies above him in those categories are all goalies that played less games than him. You got Binnington from St. Louis with 32 games. Robin Leonard from the Islanders with 46 games. Jack Campbell had a better goals against average with only 32 games. So Kuemper played 55 games and was 6th in goals against average. So he had, for the most games played, he had the best goals against average. Save percentage, he was 6th. Couple goalies above him there with more games or the same amount of games there. So he was 6th in save percentage. He was 6th also in shutouts, and the big blemish on his record this season was 13th in the amount of wins he was able to gobble up, which not really much of a goalie stat, it is a team stat all the way. And we all know the type of team the Coyotes had this past season with ridiculous amount of injuries, the most man games lost, the most points lost due to injuries. So gathering all this information, which the team Kuemper was playing on, and the fact that Kuemper was a perennial backup for his whole life, for his whole NHL career prior to this Coyote season. He was a backup, never played more than 30 games. The past 3 seasons, he's only played around 20 games each. The last time he played 30 games was actually on Minnesota in 2015, so 4 years ago. And then he plays 55 games and is pretty much top 5 in the 2 major goalie stats. He's 6th in shutouts, and he doesn't get barely any recognition for a Vezina finalist. To go into more of the advanced stats, Kuemper was a 3rd in the league in quality starts percentage. So most of his starts are actually against well-rested, strong teams. They're not sheltered minutes. They're not sheltered games. They're not back-to-back games the team's flying into. These are just, your standard NHL game with 2 rested teams. He is 4th in most quality starts as a total number, and no finalist has more quality starts more than Darcy Kuemper. He was only 2 quality starts behind the league leader, which was Devin Dubnyk in Minnesota. So pretty much there. He's played the most minutes out of the finalists that made the Vezina finalists that the league decided to choose. And for goals saved above average, Kuemper was 4th in the league. He was behind all 3 finalists in Bishop, Leonard, and Vasilevsky, but Vasilevsky and Leonard had 26 goals saved above average, and Kuemper had 25, and then Bishop ran away with 32. So goals saved above average is pretty much the amount of goals the goalies saved above the league average save percentage. It's kind of heady to think about, but in terms of just ranking these goalies, Kuemper is in the conversation with all these goalies except Bishop. I would say Bishop is a clear frontrunner for this trophy and was playing amazing hockey, and even looking at his numbers, they're pretty ridiculous for a goalie. One more advanced stat is the goalie point shares, which is the amount of points the goalie got the team, so to speak. The league leader had 12.5 points, and Kuemper came in 5th with 12. And only Vasilevsky out of the finalists had more than that. So Kuemper had a greater points share than Bishop and Robin Lehner. And then we get into, the last 20 games this season. The most important part of the hockey season is pushing for the playoffs and effectively making the playoffs, which I know is an unspoken rule for these major awards, that you need to make the playoffs to be nominated and to win a major trophy. But looking at the last 20 games, aside from Kuemper and Bishop, Vasilevsky and Robin Lehner had really poor last 20 game stretches. We'll start with Bishop. He went 8-2, 8 wins, 2 losses, a 0.9 goals against average, and a .97 save percentage. So that is like, you can't even get better than those numbers. So congrats to Bishop for having an outstanding stretch to end the season and effectively propelling the Stars to a playoff position. Robin Lehner went 6 wins, 4 losses, a 2.3 goals against average, and a .927 save percentage. So not bad, respectable numbers. I'll give him that. Vasilevsky went 12 wins, 3 losses, obviously on the best team ever created in the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I mean, you can't really give credit to Vasilevsky for winning that many games. But his numbers were 2.78 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. Those are like glorified backup numbers for a playoff push. Obviously, Tampa didn't need a push to the playoffs. They kind of coasted since the new year. But we look at Darcy Kuemper, who went 10 wins, 6 losses, 3 overtime losses, with a 1.8 goals against average and a .94 save percentage on a Coyotes depleted team, on a depleted Coyotes team. Pretty amazing numbers for a playoff push, and we all saw it from the start of January 1st. Kuemper took this team on his back and just rode through right to the end of the season. I mean, he was playing pretty much every game. I mean, Calvin Pickard only played 3 games for the Coyotes after that waiver pickup. And Aiden Hill, after the new year, didn't see much ice time and was sent down to the Tucson Roadrunners. So it was just a Darcy Kuemper show the whole half of the season. And I look at Robin Lehner as an odd man out for these finalists, because he was literally given sheltered minutes. His team was structured to play half Robin Lehner and half Thomas Greiss. They shared games. They played pretty much half the games. Greiss had 43 games. Lehner had 42 games. If you look at every stat that I threw out in this video, Greiss is right either behind Lehner or right beside Lehner. And like I said, the team was structured to have a 1A and a 1B goaltending tandem. And only 46 games compared to Kuemper's 55 games. The last stretch of the 20 games don't look amazing. He didn't have amazing numbers to end the season, and he was on the top defending team in the whole NHL. The New York Islanders were. They were last place last season in goals against, and they were first place this season. Now you might say, oh, that's because of a Vezina finalist in Robin Lehner. But no, they had no changes to the defense, no major changes to the forwards. It was pretty much the same team. And then you inject Robin Lehner and Barry Trotz. And then also Thomas Greiss has the same comparable numbers as Robin Lehner. So it's obviously not Lehner doing this miraculous job of making them the top defending team in the league, because his partner's literally doing the same exact thing. No, it was all Barry Trotz. He came in and the team bought in hard. After losing Tavares, the whole team bought into a tight system structure, and that's why they're top in the league in defending. And I can't give any credit to Robin Lehner. He played well, but so did his partner. And I know he was battling off-ice issues. I respect that. But there's another trophy just for that, and I'm sure he'll win that, and I want him to win that. But just for this Vezina Trophy, I don't see how Kuemper really doesn't get a finalist or even a consideration. I feel like no one really talked about Darcy Kuemper when discussing the Vezina finalists. And his numbers are good. He's top 5 or 6 in every goalie category. And in all these advanced stats, he's right at the top. He's at the top of the crop. And I just don't see how he's not a finalist. He's played the most minutes out of all these finalists, Darcy Kuemper did. And there's blemishes on each of these goalies except Bishop. For Vasilevsky, like I said, playing on the best team ever. His partner, Louis Domingue, went 21 wins and 5 losses. Louis Domingue, we know him. He does not get 21 wins on any other team. It was just because he was on the Tampa Bay Lightning that they're just a ridiculous regular season team, breaking records here and there. I really don't think Vasilevsky should have been nominated over Kuemper. I just don't. I can see how I could make a case on how Vasilevsky should edge Kuemper, but Robin Lehner, I feel like, shouldn't be in this conversation. He wasn't the starting goalie. He played one more game more than his partner. His partner and him have comparable numbers all throughout every stat. And to look at Darcy Kuemper being the only Coyotes goalie to see the ice for like half the season, since Antti Raanta went down in mid-November, we had like I said, Hill came in. Hill and Kuemper were battling for that starting position, and then Kuemper just ran away with it, having career years in every category, playing 25 games more than his career high, which was 4 years ago. I mean, we're talking about these trophies, these awards should be awarded to outstanding performances in the regular season, and that is Darcy Kuemper. And he should not win. I think Bishop had outstanding numbers, so give the award to him. But I mean, Kuemper was right there, and I just don't want him to get lost in the conversation. And I am skeptical that he could keep these numbers up, which makes me wish he was nominated even more, so that, you know, he had he was noticed for this amazing. I wish he was noticed for this amazing season, because I feel like he probably won't have another one of these seasons. And Antti Raanta is the number 1 guy for the Coyotes, and he's another great goaltender. So I feel like Kuemper did a lot for this team, and should have had some notice across the league. And yeah, that's my stance. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Some of these stats I know were a bit analytic and heady and hard to describe, but Kuemper was a very pivotal part of this Coyotes team, and he managed to bring them out from that basement losing culture to a team that was so close to a playoff spot. And I just want to thank him for that, and for the entertainment value he brought to this team for 55 games this season. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.